In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a boy named Jack. Jack was a thoughtful boy who enjoyed exploring nature and spending time with his friends. He often spent his days playing by the river, climbing trees, and watching the clouds drift by. However, despite his kind nature and love for adventure, Jack often found himself comparing his abilities and possessions to those of others around him. Jack had friends who were excellent at sports, played musical instruments, or owned the latest toys. He admired them, but these comparisons sometimes left him feeling inadequate. One sunny day, after watching his friends play a game of soccer where he felt overshadowed, Jack decided to take a walk by the river that flowed near his village to clear his mind. As he strolled along the riverbank, watching the water glisten in the sunlight, he came across an elderly gardener tending to a beautiful garden by the river. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers of every color, their scents mixing in the warm air. The gardener, with his gentle smile and twinkling eyes, noticed Jack's troubled expression and paused his work. "Oh, why the long face, young lad?" he asked, leaning on his spade. Jack sighed, hesitating at first, but then opened up to the gardener. "I can't help but compare myself to my friends. They're better at sports, and some even have nicer things than me. It makes me feel like I'm not good enough." The gardener nodded thoughtfully, his hands gently tending to the flowers. "Comparison can steal your joy, young one. Let me share a story with you," he said, his voice warm and calming. He set his tools aside and sat down on a nearby bench, motioning for Jack to join him. The gardener shared a tale of two young saplings that grew side by side in a garden. One sapling, tall and strong, constantly compared itself to the other sapling, which seemed smaller and less robust. The strong sapling boasted about its height and strength, while the smaller sapling quietly focused on growing its delicate flowers. One day, the gardener continued, a storm swept through the garden. The strong sapling, despite its size, was uprooted by the strong winds. The smaller sapling, with its flexible branches and deep roots, weathered the storm and continued to bloom beautifully. It had learned to adapt and focus on its strengths. Jack listened attentively, the story resonating with him deeply. He realized that comparing himself to others only brought him unnecessary worry and dissatisfaction. He saw the truth in the gardener's words, understanding that everyone has their own path and strengths. From that day forward, whenever he caught himself comparing, Jack remembered the gardener's story and focused on nurturing his own growth and happiness. He started to discover his own talents, like sketching the landscapes he loved and learning the names of the birds that visited the river. He found joy in helping others, sharing his stories and laughter, and gradually realized that these were the things that truly mattered. Through this experience by the river, Jack learned the valuable lesson of self-acceptance and stopped letting comparison overshadow his journey. He embraced his unique strengths and appreciated the beauty of his own path, finding contentment within himself and his place in the village community. Over time, Jack became known not for any one talent, but for his kindness, wisdom, and the gentle encouragement he offered to others, inspiring them to find their own paths just as he had.